So why did you move into live streaming?
The reason why I did it is to kind of get closer to the community. Where's the ball?
Behind you.
Oh, there it is.
Oops. Alright guys, how's it going? So today I had the absolute pleasure of talking to Markham3D, another YouTuber, another Blender artist, and the best way we could do this was over a game of Rocket League. Do me a favour guys, like the video, make sure you subscribe to Markham3D, enjoy the conversation. When did you first start using Blender?
I first learned about Blender back in 2001. Oh jeez. What happened? Yeah, so when it was still like 2.4, that's when I first started touching it. The stupidity of me, I couldn't do one thing, because obviously there wasn't any tutorials back then. The mesh smooth. I tried to make a car, but it was always like still flat. And I never knew about this mesh smooth tool. And so I kind of like gave up on it back then. But really, I've been pushing hard, maybe the last 7 years. I've been really, every day kind of touching it in some way, shape or form. The thing that really got me into wanting to learn it is Star Wars Episode 1. There's a bit with Anakin in the pod racer where he's driving through the canyons, and just like the shading, the lighting and the shadows off the pod racer and the canyon, I just went, I want to learn how to do that. And that's just how I started.
You're pretty well versed in Blender these days.
I'm not the best, but I would like to think that I'm decent. Making short films, obviously, in Blender. I've created now a few. I am a multi-award-winning animator. Sure, there've been local film festivals, but you know what? I'm multi-award-winning, so...
Well, that was a good question, actually. Kind of leads me on to my next point. Kind of jump in the narrative. But you did make an animation in 10 days, and I did follow the broadcast. And by the end of the 10 days, you looked like you wanted to kill somebody.
So there was just so many learnings that I didn't expect. I actually took a day off work to work on it. And that whole day of work was just lost because of small things I didn't test before I started the competition. So if you go back and you watch Terraformer, the first scene, the guy doesn't actually move his jawbone. He just kind of like moves his lips up and down. The render times was 130 hours of rendering. And when you're doing, when you put that into 10 days, that's a lot of rendering. But, I got to work with quite a few people, made a few extra relationships. I discovered a sound engineer because I was going to do the audio myself. But I'm glad I got somebody else to do it because the sounds that they created was just amazing. It just added so much to it. I mean, the visuals were not too bad, but having like the audio of rocks crushing when the spaceship landed was just magic. And it was something I learned was film isn't just about the visual, it's about the audio as well.
Well, it certainly drives the story.
Yeah.
So, if you had to do it all over again, what would you change?
What would I change?
Or what would you do differently?
I've already,
what did you...
all my learnings, I think that would have changed quite a bit because now I know how to import facial animation better. I know how to put in motion capture better. Definitely, I would have probably used a proxy on the character. So by that, I would have put in a low poly character and animated that. I was always using the high poly character. The other thing is I relied too much on the motion capture, and obviously I was using a VR system to capture the audio motion. And definitely next time I'll be rendering in Eevee.
So did you render in Cycles originally?
Yeah.
And did you feel the hit?
I was a little bit lazy. I'm like, I'm not gonna learn it. It'll be fine.
So why would you go with Eevee rather than Cycles? Just speed.
Well, when you got 2 minutes a frame compared to 3 seconds a frame,
Nah,
it's a pretty big difference.
it kind of makes sense, really.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I found mistakes in the film that I didn't like. I would have loved to have changed it, but I can't because I had to, it's an overnight render. So, but with Eevee, just let it go for half an hour and bam, you got an updated scene. So
overall, how did you feel the project went? Were you happy?
Look, I got it done. I was not happy with it by far. Watching it on the big screen in front of everyone as well, I'm like, oh, that's a terrible mistake. Oh, that's a terrible mistake. But I wasn't looking at the fact that I achieved it. I think that was the big problem is, the latest film at the moment, I've got like another 6 weeks to go to before it's due. And I'm being lazy about it. I'm playing Rocket League. I can't remember where I was going with that.
No, near that. don't worry about it. But you did touch on a good point in terms of add-ons. Do you have any recommendations for add-ons?
So the one add-on I pretty much live off is PBR Combo Extreme.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh my goodness. Just, I can just throw materials on it. I don't have to worry about it. I know how to create materials, but once again, it's, just that time and I can't be stuffed.
I think for me personally, in terms of Blender add-ons, I think Box Cutter is a huge asset. Yeah.
See, I got to go back and learn that one because I know Box Cutter and HardOps is just like a beast of its own. That can be its own program.
I think in terms of 3D modeling, it's one of the best tools available because I can use quite a lot of different softwares, but when it comes to modeling, Box Cutter's superb.
Yeah. And I mean, when I used to play with it back in the day, it was magic.
Nice shot.
But yeah, just having a time to learn that just with everything that's going on. I'm producing 4 videos a week, 2 live streams. I'm exhausted.
So do you work full time in between?
So yeah, I'm actually what a goal. I'm actually a 3D and VR developer for a government agency here in Australia. We make a lot of internal training tools. Unfortunately, at the moment, because it's a new technology, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, that's cool, but, we don't need it. So we're trying to break through and get that up and running. So that's been fun. It's been, fun mingling with people again, chatting with people, and good to introduce Blender to my team, and also pretty much using Unreal Engine as well at the moment. So Unreal Engine's amazing.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
I look forward to when Epic get an add-on for Blender, which pretty much has Blender natively running in there.
I think it's nearly there, to be honest. They're doing a lot of work behind the scenes. So that was commercial add-ons you spoke about. If you had to pick a free add-on, what would you pick?
A free add-on?
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's a tough
free add-on.
Because the Blender community, it's pretty much built on add-ons to a certain extent.
Do you know, I think Pipinator's a good one. No, it's not called Pipinator. I called it Pipinator, but I know the developer called it something else, and he went, oh, I prefer Pipinator. I think that's a really good one. So that's where it kind of auto-generates pipes in between 2 planes.
Yeah, I think
same as TubeTool.
Yeah, I think I reviewed that actually. This is one of the things I find with Blender, is you become far too dependent on add-ons at times. You maybe have 10 or 20 different add-ons installed, and I think the ecosystem kind of suffers a little bit for it.
Yes, I found Box Cutter was conflicting with another add-on, and I just couldn't work it out why until I started disabling add-ons because it's just so many. Yeah. I think another add-on that I use quite a bit is Auto Rig Pro, especially using motion capture data. That's really it quickly is able to get the motion capture stuff and put it onto a rig. So I use that one quite a bit. But I've now got a different workflow where hopefully I can get motion through the NLA editor directly onto a character.
When did you start the YouTube channel?
2016. So initially I released a Udemy course on making an animated short film, funnily enough. And then from there I went like, oh, I need more of an audience. So I started the YouTube channel and I was doing maybe one video a week, I think. But I wasn't putting much effort into it. And, you know, the growth was pretty slow. But then when I went, right, I think it was the start of last year, I went, right, I'm going to put effort into this. And that's where I started doing 4 videos a week.
I mean, 4 videos a week's a lot.
Yeah. And it's coming up with ideas as well as a killer.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to be unique. But because, you know, like CG Mattis said, there's a lot of YouTube videos on Blender. But the more YouTube videos are, the more higher ranked the Blender will be. So yeah, and that's the problem, is just being unique, I guess. Because pretty much almost everything's being done now to some extent. And that's why kind of like my tutorials, I focus on being short, sharp, straight to the point. You know, I can't stand a 30-minute tutorial, but I just want to know that one little bit.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the ethic behind my tutorials as well.
Yeah, and you know, you're producing some awesome stuff as well. Even I've gone, huh, I didn't know that.
I generally make tutorials for me, and
I make them for me as well.
because I forget things all the time, and at least that's where so at least I can go, okay, right, I googled myself yesterday by complete mistake. I think I googled how to hide a shadow in Blender. My own video came up. I went, oh fuck. That's how you do it.
One of the tutorials that I made, how to make a leaf texture, I knew, like, I kept on forgetting. I would always have to go to like Andrew Price's flower tutorial and scrub through 40 minutes of footage to find out what I need to do. So that's why I went, right, that's a 30-second video. Let's just quickly do that. Bam. Now I've got it forever.
Yeah. So I suppose this leads me on to my next question. What videos do you recommend for your channel? If there's if you had to pick one video,
oh jeez,
it's a good one, eh?
I actually really don't know.
There must be one video that sticks in your mind that you've made and thought, I'm proud of that. That's a good one.
I'm proud of all my videos.
It's not a child. I love them.
Oh, you know, I don't really know. Like, there's been quite a few live streams that I've come off and gone like, oh, that was a good live stream.
Yeah.
But wow, that is a question and a half. That's my phone. I was a fan on how I produced the cell fracture add-on. I think that was a good video. Like, I put in a lot of effort into that one to make it look nice, you know, thumbnail nice, all the information to be there. I worked out a few hiccups that had me puzzled, and that's why I recreated that video. But yeah, I reckon get stuffed on how to use the cell fracture add-on. What about you? What's one of your videos where you're like, oof?
I don't know. I love all my videos. I think it's maybe not the best video, but I showed how to start up different versions of Blender using command line.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because obviously when I'm using Blender, either for artwork or whatever, I generally, when I'm making tutorials, I need to always go back to the default Blender. So if you use command line, you can inject different versions of Blender, so you can tell it to boot up and start up mode or whatever. And I think that's one of the best videos that I've made, and it's had no views. And I find this kind of strange with Blender.
If you could learn one skill in Blender, what skill would you learn?
Well, that's a good question. I think character animation. I'm not a character animator.
Yeah.
I think in general, but I know a few character animators, guys that work with Blue Zoo and things like this, and they work in really good projects. And just watching their work, it's character animation is an art form in its own right.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when you're really good at it. And it's something I don't think it can be learnt or learned, but I think you need to have a natural talent at it as well.
I agree. I think there's a lot of things I understand, but I'm not the best at executing. You know, playing soccer, I'm an excellent goalkeeper. I can read the ball. I know what's happening. My body's not the best. I think if I had the opportunity to learn a skill, Python.
Yeah, definitely.
I cannot code to save the life of me. I understand it. I can semi-read it, but I just can't do it.
I'm pretty much in the same book, and I talked to TD. We're quite good friends. He owns a studio out in LA, and that's what he keeps trying to drive home. Learn how to code. Learn how to code. Because if you can learn how to code, you can work anywhere. Because there's always tools needing written.
Because there's so many Blender add-ons that I could make.
And you just don't have the skill to deliver it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in the same boat. I'll miss this. Favourite animation? Yeah, there's a good question. What do you like watching?
Jeez, I have to say Frozen 2 was unbelievable. That was just ridiculous. Like, you know, it's just an amazing film. Just the render quality. Even I remember seeing some images. They've got fluff on the clothes. I mean, obviously you can't really see it, but the fact that it's there, that is just, it's mind-boggling. How can they do that? I think there was one with an octopus. Who was it? Finding Nemo, I think. And that spoke about how to make the animator's life easier, the octopus has only got 6 legs rather than 8. But just render times, you can't comprehend that. Especially when somebody says, oh, it would have taken 100 years to render. Well, 100 years on what to render, if you know what I mean? So, Frozen 2. Sorry.
I don't know if that's because it's a really good animation or because you've got kids.
Do you know what? I kind of wanted to see it. I wanted to see it in the cinema, but...
You're like, come on, kids, we're going to see Frozen. This is on you. Yeah,
I have to say, Anna's a good-looking girl. What about yours? What's your favorite animation?
See, I never even thought about this.
You asked me, but you don't ask yourself.
No, I don't. I'm doing the interview. I think I need to go for traditional animation. I think there's some really good 3D animations out there. Some that are, the quality's superb. But if I had to go in terms of animation, I would go Nick Parker, Wallace and Gromit style.
Right, yeah.
With stop motion, because...
Oh my goodness, those poor guys. Why would you do that to yourself?
Just like 10 days to animate 1 second. So I would go, I think that's a really fine art when it comes to animation.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of time. What do you see for your channel?
My goal is to hit 25,000 by the end of the year. That's the goal. Am I going to reach it? Technically, I'm on target at the moment.
On Social Blade every 10 minutes, refreshing.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. I just want to keep making tutorials. I really enjoy the process. I really enjoy the community. getting behind me and chatting away, this, that, and other. But I mean, time will tell.
Is there anything you'd like to finish up or say or anything like that? Well, bye.
I can't even think of my line. What is that at the end of the video? Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out and keeps up to date with my content.